Hi, very good morning, friends. I hope I'm audible. Yes, good. So today we are going to discuss about the sensory system. And the first topic in sensory system is the sensory receptors. So we'll be starting with sensory receptors today. Okay. And in subsequent classes, sensory system, then spinal cord lesions, also reflexes to some extent. So these are all topics which we need to cover. As of today, we'll be covering sensory receptors. Right? So I'll now be sharing my screen with you, and I'm closing my video. Don't worry, I'm just going to initiate the screen sharing now. I hope the screen is visible now to you, right? Okay, thank you. It's 9:10. I gave you the time of 9:10, so I'll be starting now. Okay. So when you talk of sensory receptors, we should understand that what do you mean by receptor? Okay. So when you talk of receptor, it is nothing but a it is nothing but a transducer. Okay, just hold on, guys. Sorry. Whole slide is not visible. I'm just trying here. Just a second, guys, please. Okay. I hope this is visible now. Okay, correct. So when you talk of receptor, I mean to say receptor is a transducer. Now, from your 11th and 12th class, you must be knowing what do you mean by transducer. Transducer simply means it is something which convert one form of energy to another form. So transducer is just converting one form of energy to some other form of energy, right? As simple as that. So what is receptor doing here? Receptor is basically converting some sort of energy to another sort of energy. And if you talk of the energy which they are, converting from one, Bilwin, only half the screen is visible. Just a second. Karthik, are you able to see the complete screen? The type of sensory receptors? Okay, fine. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. See, now these are the type of receptors based on the type of stimulus. So what is the stimulus here? The first stimulus is mechano. That means some mechanical force. So these are the receptors which sense some mechanical deformation, or you can say mechanical force. Then based on the stimulus, another type is thermoreceptor. Obviously, change in temperature they will sense. Nociceptors will be pain receptors. So any painful stimulus they'll be sensing. Electromagnetic, like for example, light, which is electromagnetic ray. So electromagnetic sensors or receptors will, like rods and cones, they will be you know, sensing the electromagnetic rays. Chemoreceptor, like for example, what are the chemoreceptors which you know of? Chemoreceptors can be like taste, smell, various gases, or even osmoreceptors. Along with that, there can be osmoreceptors. There can be glucoreceptors, which will sense glucose, which will sense the this osmosis, or the osmotic pressure, right? So these are a type of sensory receptors based on the type of stimulus. Okay. Now, the second classification is basically, this was the first type of classification based on type of stimulus. Okay. Second type of receptors is based on anatomical classification. Second type of classification is anatomical classification. Okay. So when we talk of, just hold on guys. Okay. So when you talk of anatomical classification, there can be, first, there are special senses receptors, right? So what do you mean by special senses? They have few features. First is they are very close to CNS, right? And they are specialized. What all specializations are there? They can be, for example, like you know this, vision, hearing, or you can say smell or taste. These are all the specialized senses which they carry, and they are, the sensations are carried by, this is important, they are carried by cranial nerves. Okay, so they are special senses. So first anatomical classification is special senses. Then second is the cutaneous or skin receptors. These cutaneous are superficial, obviously. They are superficial receptors or cutaneous receptors. And the examples of cutaneous receptors would be, what all things would be perceived in skin? The senses which will be perceived in skin will be definitely, one is touch. Also pain can be perceived in the skin. Then the temperature can be perceived in skin, hot or cold. Even pressure can be perceived on skin. Then the third type of classification according to anatomical classification would be, there can be deep senses. What do you mean by deep senses? Deep senses, for example, they are the one which will sense about the joint positions, the pressure in the joint, or joint positions, or even muscles, or tendons and cartilages. So the receptors which are there on these places, they will be sensing the deep sensations of, let us say, pressure. They will also be sensing the position sense. So these are the sensations which these deep senses would be perceiving. Then there can be sensory receptors also in the viscera. So visceral sensations. What are the visceral sensations you know of? Visceral sensations are the one which will tell you about the internal environment. Now, what is internal environment here? Internal environment, for example, there can be the senses in the GIT, right? The fullness as such, you can say. So important thing here is that they are carried by the autonomic nervous system. So the nervous system responsible for visceral senses is autonomic nervous system. Okay. And what are the senses? Usually they can be like, for example, glucoreceptors. So glucose concentration in the blood, right? This is perceived in the blood in the viscera. Then there can be like, for example, pain or the feeling of fullness, which is there in the GIT. So these are all type of classifications. I mean, anatomical type of classification. Right? Then all these classifications can also be according to the type of receptor, right? So the first classification was according to the type of stimulus. Second was the general or anatomical classification based on type of sense. The third is third classification is based on type of receptor. Okay, so this classification is known as, this is important, Sherrington's classification. Okay, so now Sherrington's classification include the receptors which include exteroreceptors. So exteroreceptors are the one which help us perceiving the external environment. Okay, so which external environment I am referring to here? For example, external environment can be like temperature or pain also, which is given from external sources, touch, right, or even pressure. So these are through exteroreceptors. Then there are interoreceptors. Interoreceptors means these are the receptors which respond to either some modification or some change in the internal environment. So what are they? They can be proprioceptors, for proprioception or position basically. They can be muscle spindles, right? Muscle spindle you have already studied, or you will again like study in when we will talk about reflexes. Then also the joint receptors, right? Vestibular receptors, the Golgi tendon which is there. Right? Then there are teleceptors or telereceptors. Telereceptors. Now, what do you mean by telereceptors? Telereceptor simply means they are they are the receptors which are associated with perceiving the senses which are coming from somewhere away. For example, like sound, right? For hearing, sound is sound, or I must say hearing rather than sound. So hearing is the sensation. Sorry, sound is the sensation, and hearing is the hearing receptors are the one which perceive this sound. Also, they can be like, for example, touch, not touch. Sorry, what I should say, vision or smell, right? So these are telereceptors which are responsible for such sensations. Also, there can be uh, visceroceptors. Now, visceroceptors are the one which are responsible for changes being perceived in the viscera. Like, for example, osmoreceptors or baroreceptors which are there, right? Even glucoreceptors which are there. So they're all visceroceptors. And the chemoreceptors. Chemoreceptors we already discussed, which are going to also, focus on perceiving different chemicals. And as a matter of fact, chemoreceptors will include osmoreceptors, glucoreceptors. It will also include this smell, right? We already have discussed about this, even taste or smell. So they all will come under chemoreceptors as well. So one sensation can come in more than one type of receptor according to the Sherrington's classification. Okay, so don't get confused at this. Right? Okay. See, there is one again this is I can say this is the fourth classification, but this is pretty loose basically. This can be according to the sensory modality, can be according to whether it is conscious or unconscious, conscious or unconscious. Okay, so what will be the conscious one? Conscious will include, for example, all the special senses which are there. So special senses simply means, like for example, vision, hearing, smell, taste, right? They are all the special senses. So you can consciously perceive all of them. So all the special senses are the one which will come under conscious senses. Also, all the skin related ones, like for example, superficial sensations, like for example, touch, pain, superficial pressure and all, they are conscious. What are the unconscious sensory modalities which are there? They can be, like for example, muscle or joint positions, right? Muscle length, even the partial pressure of oxygen, PCO2, PO2, pH, right? Like for example, osmotic pressure, even the glucose levels of glucoreceptors. So they are all unconscious perceptions or unconscious sensory modalities. Fine. So this is how we can classify receptors according to different classifications. So what are the classifications we discussed? This is first is based on type of stimulus. They can be mechano, thermo, noci, electromagnetic, or chemoreceptors. Then based on anatomical, this is general anatomical classification. First is the special senses. Importance is they are just situated near to CNS. Cranial nerves are carrying the sensations and they are specialized. Second is superficial or cutaneous. So skin is responsible for this, right? The third one is the deep sensations, which include the uh, joint position, muscle stretch, the tendon stretch, the pressure, all those. Then the visceral sensations, which will tell you about the internal environment. So, like for example, in GIT or even in blood, if there are glucoreceptors, pain receptors, all these, right? Then, according to the type of classification, Sherrington's classification is according to type of classification. जो कहाँ पे receptor है उसके हिसाब से. Exteroreceptor हो सकता है, interoreceptor, receptor, visceroreceptor, and chemoreceptor. And also fourth classification is according to conscious and unconscious sensations. Right? Okay. Now let us talk of the different type of sensory receptors which are there. So there are few examples of sensory receptors, right? All of them. They are free nerve endings. This is epidermis, right? And these are free nerve endings. So free nerve endings are most importantly responsible for pain, right? We'll just discuss some of them here. Then this is expanded tip receptor. This is mainly for touch and all. So tactile here again for touch, and this receptor is basically just attached with the hair, if you can see here. So any movement of the hair would be perceived by this receptor. So this is again for touch. The Pacinian corpuscles are these globular structures. They are situated just in the dermis, and they are also responsible for touch. The Meissner's also crosses corpuscle, Ruffini end organ, Golgi tendon organ, muscle spindle. These two, they are basically there in the muscle and tendon, respectively, opposite actually, and they are responsible for the tendon stretch or muscle stretch sensation. Okay, so we'll just discuss a few of them now. These are this diagram is taken from one book called Purse, and this is about how and where actually on the non-hairy skin this various receptors situated. So if you see here, this pink color, this is epidermis, and this yellowish, dirty yellow color, this is dermis. So the free nerve endings, if you see, free nerve endings are situated in the epidermis. Okay, and this Merkel's complex or Merkel's disc, they are also there in the lower end of epidermis. Okay, rest like Meissner corpuscles or Ruffini's corpuscles, or these two, they are there in the dermis, and Pacina corpuscles are pretty deep inside, so almost at the level of dermis and subcutaneous layer or subcutaneous tissue. This is another more simplified diagram, and this is telling you about both the hairy skin and the non-hairy or glabrous skin. And if you can see, this is epidermis, and in epidermis only this Merkel's disc, Merkel's receptor and free nerve endings, they are there coming over to epidermis. Okay, so these two receptors are the one which are there. In addition to this, there are in the dermis, there are these Meissner's corpuscles, Ruffini's corpuscles, Ruffini's end organs. They are there, right? And in the lower end of dermis, and just at the junction of subcutaneous tissue and dermis, there is this Pacinian corpuscles. These hair receptors are specialized nerve endings which are attached with the hair bulb, and they are there again in the dermis, right? So these are various sensory receptors present in the skin, right? So one or two important thing now, I'll just discuss about the Merkel's and Meissner's here. So, and they are the tactile receptors responsible for touch. You know this already, right? They can also sense to a great extent texture. Okay. Also slow vibrations and sustained pressure. Okay, so Merkel's and Meissner's discs are responsible for, Meissner corpuscles are responsible for these two. Okay, and they are, if you see here, these are Merkel's receptor, and if I have to enlarge this, so it would be somewhat like this. These are the Merkel's receptors, and they have these globular endings, somewhat like this. So they are expanded tips and encapsulated endings of the neurons, basically. Okay, nerves. So they are sensory nerve terminals, and the type of neuron which is responsible here is type A fibers, usually A beta, or to less extent A delta fibers. Okay, A fibers are the fastest fibers which you already studied, the type of neuron nerve fibers you studied, so they are fast fibers. Okay. They have maximum concentration, they are maximum found in the in the glabrous skin, and also like glabrous skin, I mean to say fingertips, the non-hairy skin, fingertips mostly, also lips, also nipples. Okay. Around the base of hair follicle also, these receptors are definitely found to a good extent. Then Pacinian corpuscles. So these are more superficial. Merkel's and Meissner's, they are more superficial. Then we'll talk of the Pacinian and Ruffini's. Pacinian, basically, they have a beta fibers attached with them. And see, if you see this, they are situated deep down. Okay, they are deep down in the lower part of dermis, and they will sense pressure. So P for pressure and P for pacemia. They will perceive pressure. Also, they will perceive vibration. And in vibration, they are going to perceive high frequency vibrations. So fast vibrations. Okay, they are going to perceive. If you say they have, these Pacini corpuscles have very big globular structure which is attached to the nerves, and this is responsible for, I'll just tell you a little later, this is responsible for very fast adaptation. Responsible for very fast adaptation. Okay. Okay. Then you have this, what do you call it, Ruffini's corpuscle. Okay. These Ruffini corpuscles, basically, they are again situated in dermis. They are responsible for the what do you call it, perception of the warmth, and also for the perception of the touch. Okay. Touch may be, rather than just a touch, they are more that they are perceiving the sustained pressure or deep pressure, sustained pressure basically. Okay, in touch they are perceiving sustained pressure and also to less extent warmth. So this sustained pressure and touch, it will be perceived by the fiber A delta, and warmth by the type C fiber. Okay, so this is about Ruffini's and organs. There are other sensory fibers or sensory receptors which include crosses and bulbs. Crosses and bulbs. Right? They are there. They are again mechanoreceptors. They have A delta attached with it. A delta fibers are there. Their afferent fibers are A delta, and they are present in, again, in lips, in tongue, also in conjunctiva. Very important. These are crosses. They are then naked nerve endings. What about naked nerve endings? Naked nerve endings are usually responsible for the noxious stimulus like pain or chemical or mechanical or thermal stimulus, which is responsible for tissue damage. So free nerve endings or naked nerve endings. Naked or free nerve endings. So basically, this will be responsible mainly for pain. Okay? They can, however, also convey touch and temperature. But more importantly, they are responsible for pain. Now, there are few properties of the receptors. One of the properties, definitely sensation. So there are principal types of sensations which are there. For example, touch sensation, pain sensation, sight, vision or sound. So these are modalities basically. The type of sensation is modality of sensation, right? Also, how the sensation will be perceived, this will depend upon the receptor, okay, and the central connections which are connected to the receptor. Central connections, I mean to say the part of brain, the area of brain, okay, which is attached with the receptor basically. So if, for example, let us say you have in the eye, you have rods and cones, okay, and they are ultimately connected to the vision area which is there in the occipital lobe, right? Now the rods and cones, they will be activated by, you know this, they are basically activated by the electromagnetic rays. So they are photoreceptors basically, right? So they are activated by photons. Just take an example. This is a hypothetical example. If, for example, you activate these rods and cones, if you somehow activate rods and cones by mechanical stimulation, this is, I'm again repeating, this is a hypothetical situation. अगर rods and cones somehow mechanical stimulus से activate हो जाती हैं, then again these rods and cones will have connection to the primary vision area in the occipital lobe, and still what will happen, you will have sight, you will see. What will you see? You will see this mechanical stimulation. Little weird to understand, right? हम इसको दूसरी तरह से लेते हैं. Now let us say you have Meissner's or Merkel's disc, right? You have cutaneous receptors, let us say. और cutaneous receptor यूजुअली किससे स्टिमुलेट होता है? टच से, मैकेनो रिसेप्टर से. बट आपने क्या किया? फोटोन्स दिए, और somehow if these cutaneous receptors are able to initiate action potential in the afferent neuron, तो प्राइमरी सोमेटोसेंसरी एरिया में जाके क्या होने वाला है? You will feel photons, you will feel these photons as touch. Are you getting this? So sensation will be perceived according to the primary area of the brain which is responsible for the sensation. That is more important. And second is definitely the characteristic of receptor. For example, mechanoreceptor जितने भी होते हैं, like for example free nerve endings, Meissner's, or even Pacinian corpuscles, Ruffini's end organ, Cross's endings, they are responsible for the activation of or sensing of mechanical stimulation, simply because जब भी movement होती है तो उस time पे, let us say this is a receptor, right? And this is the free nerve ending. So basically होता सिर्फ इतना है, if there is this pressure being applied here, so there would be deformation, and this deformation will lead to the opening of ion channels. और ये ion channels जब open होंगी तो क्या होगा? There would be potential which will be generated, and this potential will ultimately be activated as action potential in this afferent neuron, and this will go all the way up to the brain via obviously the spinal cord. Okay. Now this is important again. So if one, मैंने यहाँ पे आपको क्या बताया कि जो rods and cones हैं, इनके साथ जो ये न्यूरॉन अटैच है, नर्व फाइबर जो अटैच है, which ultimately will be attached to the area of brain responsible for vision. अब आप कहीं भी इसको स्टिमुलेट कर दीजिए, कैसे भी स्टिमुलेट कर दीजिए, the sensation which will come will only be vision. That means the specificity of nerve fiber for transmitting one particular type of sensation modality, that is definitely there, and that is known as labeled line principle. I mean to say, अगर receptor से लेके area of brain यहाँ तक, wherever you stimulate, whether you stimulated here, at receptor, or here, it will be perceived as that particular modality, one single modality of sensation only, and this is known as labeled line principle. So this line, this whole line is labeled for one single sensation modality. Got it? So this is labeled line principle. Modality. What is modality? Modality is basically the type of sensation. For example, touch is a different modality. Pain is different modality. So as I told you, this is modality. Touch, pain, sound, all these, they are modalities. Fine. So what are the factors which generate receptor potentials? See, it all depends upon the type of receptor and the modality. जैसे कि मैंने आपको पिछली स्लाइड में बताया, like for example you have this touch receptor, a typical or pressure receptor, like for example Pacinian capsule. So if this is skin और skin के नीचे receptor है, skin के ऊपर pressure पड़ेगा and there would be pressure here as well, and this will lead to the opening up of ion channels, right? Like for example, even on application of chemicals, they are going to open the ion channels in particular chemoreceptors. Likewise, for the thermoreceptors, the change in temperature will alter the membrane permeability, and this will again open the ion channels because permeability increase होगी, तो ions का inflow होगा, and depending upon that there would be depolarizing current which will be generated. Likewise in rods and cones, what happens? Membrane permeability change होती है और ions जो है वो उनका influx होता है ultimately. So basic thing is generator, this receptor potential is generated by opening up of ion channels. This is the basic thing. Okay, take home message take. Important point to note here is that all these stimulus will lead to membrane permeability to ions changes. Okay, membrane permeability change होगी, ions आएंगे. This usually leads to hyperpolarization. This usually leads to depolarization. Or depolarization simply means hypopolarization, and sometimes also hyperpolarization. Okay, वो हम जब special senses पढ़ेंगे then we'll read about how hyperpolarization also helps. Okay, but mainly depolarization होता है normally. This is again the mechanism of receptor potential generation. So let us say यहाँ पे you had the feeling of, let us say this is you applying your finger, fine. So आपने और इधर ये स्किन है, राइट? सो यहाँ पे आपने प्रेशर डाला इस एरिया, तो इस एरिया पे जैसे ही प्रेशर डलेगा, so this is the deformed area, let us say, fine. So deformed area, what will it lead to? It will lead to opening up of ion channels. Which ion channels? Mainly the sodium channels. So this will increase the sodium conductance. Sodium will come in. So sodium is going to come in. So inside will be positive now. अगर inside positive है और outside अब negative हो गया, तो ये क्या चीज होगी? This is depolarization which is happening, and this depolarization is known as the receptor potential, and this is going to now move, fine. और ये जो receptor potential है basically, this will lead to generation of action potential after first node of Ranvier, at or after first node of Ranvier. Why at first node of Ranvier? Because in the first node of Ranvier, this has maximum sodium channels. यहाँ पे इस area में the sodium is limited. However, at first node of Ranvier, the sodium channels are quite a lot. So action potential ultimately generate होगा. That will be in node of Ranvier or in axon. Okay, and why is action potential not generated inside the receptor? Simply because the area within the receptor that does not have enough sodium ions so as to produce the action potential. So there would be summation which will happen, and this summation ultimately will lead to action potential. Receptor potential may even die off. Like for example, अगर let us say there is this Pacinian capsule, क्या करती है? Pacinian capsule is responsible for the sensation of pressure mainly, right? और आपने क्या किया? Let us say superficial touch किया आपने. अब मैं एक और एग्जांपल आपको बता रहा हूँ. If you have like for example touched only superficially, बहुत आराम से इसको यहाँ पे टच किया है, right? This touch is very superficial. Then in that case, what is going to happen? There would be mild or mild to moderate or very small receptor potential which will be generated, but there would be no action potential in that case through this Pacinian capsule I am referring to. तो Pacinian capsule कब activate होगी? जब आप उस पे थोड़ा deep pressure या फिर fast vibration type कुछ लगाओगे, right? Then only it will get activated and not otherwise. Now, this is about the relationship between the receptor potential and action potentials. मैं आपको क्या बताया, receptor potential जब बनते हैं, they may or may not lead to action potential. Now let us say this is the membrane potential on y-axis, on x-axis this is time. Now just try to understand this. The resting membrane potential of the membrane was, let us say, -90. Okay, और आपने बहुत पेसिन कॉप्सल थी, you touched only like very mild superficial touch, तो हो सकता है वो यहाँ तक आ जाए, फिर उसके बाद नीचे आ जाए, right? Again it will come back. Here also this receptor potential might again come back like this. So they will be almost like local potentials. Okay, so they are local receptor potentials which will be formed, and they will not lead to action potential or any firing or the sensation of touch with the sensation of pressure will not be there. When will it be there? अगर आपका receptor potential जो है वो threshold cross कर जाता है. Threshold is basically, let us say, -65 or something here in this case. तो जैसे ही वो potential cross करेगा, there would be this action potential firing which will be there in the first node of Rainweir, in the afferent neuron, afferent axon basically. ठीक है, तो जब भी पोटेंशियल थ्रेशोल्ड से ऊपर जाएगा, एक्शन पोटेंशियल विल बी फायर्ड. नाउ अब आपको ये कैसे पता लगेगा दैट, सी यू नो, एक तो हमें पता लगता है टाइप ऑफ स्टिमुलस, टाइप ऑफ मोडालिटी और स्टिमुलस, राइट? यू ऑल्सो गेट टू नो द सिवियरिटी, लाइक for example touch, you get to know superficial touch है, deep touch है. Pain also, mild pain, moderate pain, severe pain, you get to know the sensation. अब होता क्या है, होता वो सेम ही सेंसेशन है, राइट? सो लेकिन पता कैसे उसका लगता, मतलब उसमें फर्क कैसे हमें पता लगता है? इट ऑल डिपेंड ऑन द फ्रीक्वेंसी ऑफ एक्शन पोटेंशियल्स. So if the stimulus intensity is increased, this is very important. If the stimulus intensity is increased, it will lead to increased receptor potential. And increased receptor potential will lead to increased action potential frequency. This is important. Okay, so when the action potential frequency will be increased, the sensation would be increased, the severity of sensation that would be increased. Okay, so यहाँ पे if you see, लगातार जो आपका जो टच या जो भी आपकी सेंसेशन है वो हमेशा थ्रेशोल्ड से अगर ऊपर रहेगा रिसेप्टर पोटेंशियल, so there would be very fast action potential frequency which would be there, high frequency action potentials which will be generated, और उससे आप severity जज कर सकते हो, right? Now again, this is again a very important graph which is there. On x-axis here, this is stimulus strength. Like for example, आप stimulus strength maximum अगर लो तो उसको बोलो आप 100%, कि भाई इससे ज्यादा, जैसे फॉर एग्जांपल मैं बात करूं टच की, तो टच if crosses a particular threshold, it will elicit pain, right? Like for example, if you touch the skin of your face, तो वो टच वाली फीलिंग आएगी, लेकिन उसी टच को आप बहुत तेज चाटा लगाओगे, दैट मीन्स बहुत ज्यादा सीवियरिटी के साथ करोगे तो वो बन जाएगा पेन. सो फॉर दिस परसेंटेज might be different for different people also. Okay, so let us say 100% is the stimulus strength up till where the touch is perceived as touch and not pain. So this is stimulus strength. This is the amplitude of the receptor potential which is observed, right? Now when we talk of amplitude of the receptor potential, it is directly correlating with, it is directly proportional to action potential frequency. ये हमने पिछले डायग्राम में देखा, right? So अगर आप देखेंगे यहाँ पे, so जैसे ही let us say 100% was the maximum, so जैसे ही आपने 2-3-5% initiate किया, there was this first response which is coming here. So the amplitude of observed receptor potential, which it would be approximately like 5-10% here. Now जैसे जैसे आप इसकी stimulus strength increase करेंगे, if you go towards higher stimulus strength, what you will see that the amplitude of the receptor potential that is increasing exponentially here. राइट। लाइक फॉर एग्जांपल 0% पे 0 था, 5% पे नियरली 5% एम्पलीट्यूड ऑब्जर्व हुआ, ठीक है। बट आप देखेंगे 20% पे नियरली 60% ऑफ द एम्पलीट्यूड ऑफ द मैक्सिमम एम्पलीट्यूड ऑफ द रिसेप्टर पोटेंशियल दैट इज ऑलरेडी देयर। सो 20% पे 60% आपके एम्पलीफिकेशन हो गया, एम्पलीट्यूड रिसेप्टर पोटेंशियल में आ गया। सो इस एरिया में इफ यू सी in the initial area, if you see this area, only the small changes in the stimulus strength, they will lead to changes in the receptor potential, right? अब यहाँ पे आप देखोगे in the lag end, if you see, अगर इंटेंसिटी सॉरी स्टिमुलस स्ट्रेंथ बहुत ज्यादा है, ठीक है, ज्यादा की तरफ स्टिमुलस स्ट्रेंथ है, तो वो कब मतलब आपको अलग अलग पता चलेंगे, वो आपको तब पता चलेंगे अलग अलग, मतलब डिफरेंस उनमें तब पता चलेगा जब काफी ज्यादा इंटेंसिटी में डिफरेंस है। अब यहाँ पे इफ यू सी, you will be able to observe, let us say I'm just taking two examples. One is 20%. 20% पे if you have to corroborate approximately, if you see 60% के around आपकी 20% पे ये आ गया है, right? So 20% stimulus strength is leading to 60% reaching of the receptor potential, okay? And if you see 10%, so 10% यहाँ पे है, 10% में nearly 20% ही आपको stimulus strength पता लगा है, ठीक है। अब जितना आप रिसेप्टर पोटेंशियल इंक्रीज करते जाते हो उतना एक्शन पोटेंशियल फ्रीक्वेंसी इंक्रीज होती जाती है, और एक्शन पोटेंशियल फ्रीक्वेंसी विल लीड टू व्हाट? एक्शन पोटेंशियल फ्रीक्वेंसी विल लीड टू द सिवियरिटी और यू कैन से इंटेंसिटी ऑफ द स्टिमुलस। सो इसका मतलब है कि 10% और 20% स्टिमुलस स्ट्रेंथ के बीच में यू विल बी एबल टू जज द इंटेंसिटी वेरी क्लियरली, बिकॉज कितना डिफरेंस आ गया? 20 to 60 का फर्क आ गया। Are you getting this point? I'm just again repeating this. At low stimulus strength, you will be able to differentiate the intensity very clearly. आप बड़े आराम से differentiate कर लोगे, okay? और जब ये changes stimulus strength में change बहुत high हो जाता है, right? 70-80% के around चला जाता है, then the change in the receptor potential that will be less. So intensity उसमें बहुत ज्यादा change आपको पता नहीं लगने वाली है, right? So stimulus strength at low frequency, at low percentage, it will lead to the change in intensity perceived. Okay. I'll just see if you have any questions here. There are a few, one or two questions. Amisha is asking, are receptor potentials similar to local potentials? Absolutely. Receptor potentials are definitely similar to local potentials. The only difference is that receptor potentials are generated in receptors, and they can remain above threshold for a longer period of time, and they themselves will lead to action potential generation only at first node of Ranvier and not within the receptor. Okay. Now let us talk of the adaptation of receptors now. See, this is the second property. So one property which we discussed was the specificity of response. We just discussed it here. Right? Labeled line principle से हमने क्या देखा था कि कहीं पे भी आप स्टिमुलस दीजिए, सेम मॉडलिटी ऑफ सेंसेशन आपको मिलेगी. So this is specificity of response. एक और इसकी प्रॉपर्टी है लॉ ऑफ एडिक्वेट स्टिमुलस. लॉ ऑफ एडिक्वेट स्टिमुलस हमने यहाँ पे देखा, ठीक है, that only when receptor potential reaches threshold, only when it reaches threshold, then action potentials will be generated. Okay, so this is about law of adequate stimulus. एक हम अगली प्रॉपर्टी अगर देखें इसकी, then we'll see the third property is adaptation of receptors. So what do you mean by adaptation of receptors? Adaptation of receptors simply means the when a constant stimulus strength is applied to the receptor, तो जो frequency है action potential की, that decreases over a period of time. That is, if you have a constant strength of stimulus, important है strength यहाँ पे. When a constant strength of stimulus is applied, what will it lead to? The action potential frequency which is there, that is going to decrease over a period of time. This is known as adaptation. So adaptation का एक और नाम क्या है? Adaptation can also be known as desensitization. Most of you तो नहीं कहना चाहिए. Many of you would be sitting right now. Okay. Some of you might be lying down on your bed. This time, है ना? आप में से शायद हो सकता है एक दो लोग ऐसे भी हों जो वॉक कर रहे हो इस टाइम पे. So when you are sitting or when you are lying down, are you always perceiving the touch which is there or the pressure which is being perceived by you? No. तो ये जो टच और प्रेशर है, फॉर एग्जांपल एक और एग्जांपल मैं लेता हूँ. ऑल ऑफ यू मस्ट बी वेयरिंग सम क्लोथ्स राइट नाउ. सो ये जो क्लोथ का जो टच है, एवरी टाइम यू आर नॉट परसीविंग इट. जब भी क्लॉथ की मूवमेंट होगी, देन यू विल परसीव. नाउ डू वन थिंग, जो भी आपने कपड़े पहने हुए, जस्ट ट्राई टू मूव दोज क्लोथ्स अ लिटिल. नाउ यू विल सी दैट द टच सेंसेशन इज नाउ परसीव्ड. इससे पहले आपको टच परसेप्शन नहीं हो रही थी. ठीक है, तो इसका क्या मतलब हुआ? आपको कांस्टेंट वो जो क्लोथ्स का टच है उसकी कांस्टेंट स्ट्रेंथ ऑफ स्टिमुलस मिल रहा था लगातार. तो अल्टीमेटली ओवर अ पीरियड टाइम आपकी एक्शन पोटेंशियल फ्रीक्वेंसी कम हुई और जो आपके रिसेप्टर हैं वो डिसेंसिटाइज हुए. एंड नाउ यू आर नो मोर परसीविंग दिस स्ट्रेंथ ऑफ स्टिमुलस. ओके, देयर आर फ्यू रिसेप्टर्स which are adapted very fast. There are few other receptors which are adapted late. So depending upon the type of receptors which adapt to something, there are either the tonic receptors, or phasic receptors. Right? The tonic receptors basically are the one which are they have delayed adaptation, and phasic receptors are the one which have fast adaptation. Fine. So tonic are the one which have delayed adaptation, and phasic are the one which have fast adaptation. Okay, we'll just discuss a little more about them now. If you see here in this diagram, you see Pacinian corpuscles. Pacinian corpuscles are the fastest adapting receptors. They are the fastest adapting receptors. They get adapted within milliseconds. So in less than 1 second, they will get adapted. So आप देखेंगे कि 0.1 millisecond के आसपास पे they had maximum impulse, and right now they have very less impulse. Just hold on a second. Okay, then hair receptors, the receptors of hair. If you see, within 1 second, the impulses per second have decreased from 250 to 0 now. So they have hair receptors are completely adapted within 1 second. Okay, then there are some other receptors also. They are also phasic receptors. Okay, like for example olfactory receptors. Okay, pressure receptors. So they are phasic receptors. What about the tonic receptors, which have the delayed adaptation? So they would be, examples are the position sense, joint capsule receptors, the muscle spindle, the muscle stretcher, muscle spindle receptors. They are the one which have extremely delayed adaptation. ये adapt होते ही नहीं है, या फिर 2-3 दिन में जाके adapt होते हैं. ठीक है, तो they have very long duration of adaptation. Also pain, the sensation of pain, इसकी adaptation भी थोड़ी slow होती है. Okay. So as I told you, rate of adaptation, it varies with the type of receptor. Okay. Some of them are very fast adapters, few of them are mild or little slow, and some are very delayed adapters. ठीक है, जैसे कि एग्जांपल में देता हूं आपको, Meissner corpuscles and Pacinian corpuscles, they are the one which are the fastest adapting receptors. Meissner corpuscles में if you see, सबसे पहले इस डायग्राम के अंदर ये वाला पोर्शन देखो, just try to observe the stimulus. Stimulus में you will see that this is base and this is the highest stimulus. So stimulus increase हुई, उसके बाद वो sustained stimulus है, ठीक है, sustained pressure और sustained stimulus और sustained touch. If you see, जैसे ही ये increase होके maximum पहुंचा था, there was this action potential which was generated in the Meissner corpuscle, and it was able to sense the touch. Fine. लेकिन जैसे ही ये sustained हुआ, within few seconds, there is now no action potential output which is there. So the receptor has now adapted. So Meissner corpuscles are very fast adapter. Merkel's cell, if you see, यहाँ पे आप देखेंगे again, this is the stimulus which has gone up and the sustained stimulus is there. Merkel's में भी आप देखो, इसके अंदर थोड़ा फर्क है, that the receptor potential has gone high now, but action potential is very fast here, and there is this, the frequency of action potential has decreased, लेकिन यहाँ पे zero नहीं हुई action potential की frequency. That still means that something is being perceived. So they are Merkel's disc and also Ruffini's endings. They are not very fast adapters, I would say. Okay, very fast adapters में कौन से हुए? Merkel's and Pacinian. Pacinian तो और ज्यादा जल्दी होता है. Pacinian में क्या है? जैसे ही ये बढ़ा, वैसे ही बस थोड़े से sensation आई और उसके बाद the sensation are all gone. Action potentials are gone. ठीक है? So if you see here, so Meissner's and Pacinian, they are adapted the fastest adapters. Okay. So this is important here. This is sustained pressure and this is the action potential generation, which is there. Okay. So what is the mechanism of adaptation? It's pretty simple. आप देखिए, let us say there is this pressure being applied on this portion, right? So क्या होगा यहाँ पे? This would be deformed like somewhat like this, and there would be, because of this deformation, there would be the ion channels which will be open and sodium will come in. Okay, sodium basically कहाँ पे आएगा अंदर? Because of this deformation, ये जो neuron है यहाँ पे भी same चीज हो रही है. This will also be deformed, and now this sodium will come inside this neuron, and here at the first node of Ranvier there would be action potential which will be generated. Okay, लेकिन होता क्या है, ये distorting force जो है, this is going to initiate distortion in this neuron, in this nerve for only initial first second. उसके बाद क्या हुआ, because of this आप देखेंगे Pacinian corpuscle is almost like an onion, है ना, इसमें multi layers हैं यहाँ पे. तो ये जो, और इसके अंदर there is this fluid which is filled, और ये fluid जो था, pressure एक point पे लगा, after like few milliseconds, what is going to happen, this fluid is going to get redistributed. तो pressure भी redistribute हो जाएगा. Because of this redistribution, this nerve is now okay. Nerve के अंदर कोई problem नहीं हो रही है अब, है ना? So there would be less distorting force now, and there would be no action potential or no receptor potential ultimately which would be generated, or it would be very less. Okay. Likewise, photoreceptors में क्या हो रहा होता है? Photoreceptors में जो chemicals हैं, जो light sensitive chemicals हम पढ़ेंगे आराम से, rhodopsin और वगैरह, वो आपने पहले ही पढ़े हुए हैं, लेकिन they are going to change or decrease basically, because of which the you will have adaptation. So light adaptation and dark adaptation you will read when you will read special senses, vision. Okay. So this is mainly the mechanism of adaptation, how they adapt. So आप देखेंगे जो ग्लोबुलर रिसेप्टर हैं जिनमें ग्लोब्यूल्स इस तरह के होते हैं, they are going to adapt the fastest. Right? So let's see. Tejas is asking the molecular basis of adaptation. Does receptor potential increase the amplitude of AP? अच्छा, साई ने बीच में पूछा है. अच्छा, Lavanya is asking, is all or none principle followed? See, मैं कुछ queries यहाँ पे sort कर लेता हूँ पहले. जो आपका receptor potential है, receptor potential, इसमें this is more of a local potential, so there is no all or none. All or none phenomena is not followed here. Principle is not followed here in the receptor potential. हालांकि जो action potential इसमें बनेगा, which is formed in the first node of Rain, where this will have all or none phenomena. Receptor potential की जैसे जैसे इसका amplitude increase होगा, action potential frequency is going to increase. Frequency is going to increase. All or none definitely will be followed. अच्छा, does receptor potential increases the amplitude of AP? Not at all. Sign. This action potential amplitude can neither be decreased nor be increased. Action potential has all or none phenomena, so इसके अंदर कोई amplitude में change नहीं आने वाला, frequency में change आता है action potential. So depending upon the amplitude of receptor potential, the frequency of action potential is changed. Okay, and depending upon the frequency of action potential, the perception of the modality that is changed. The severity of modality perception that is changed. Because molecular basis of Tejas is asking molecular basis of adaptation. मैंने बताया आपको molecular basis of adaptation is basically जो ion channels पहले open हो रही थी, they are no more opening now. That is the molecular basis of this. In receptor potential, temporal summation is there. Yes, temporal summation can definitely be there. In the both the spatial and temporal summation can be there in the receptor potential. So that is there. So let us now talk of the tonic receptors, which are slow adapting receptors. So as I told you, even when the same stimulus is present, same strength of stimulus is present, they will continue to transmit the impulses for longer duration of time. Okay, अब ये कब करेगा बेसिकली, मतलब एग्जांपल्स क्या हो, जब भी हमें अपनी पोजीशन वाली सेंस देखनी है, तो पोजीशन की सेंस हमें पता लगाना बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है. पोजीशन सेंस हमें कहाँ से पता लगेगा? पोजीशन सेंस हमें पता लगेगा मसल स्पिंडल से, गोल्जी टेंडन ऑर्गन से, ठीक है, रफनीज एंड ऑर्गन, मर्कल्स डिस्क आल्सो टू अ ग्रेट एक्सटेंट. देन also the macula, also other than this, pain receptors, temperature receptors, chemoreceptors, baroreceptors. Baroreceptors in fact are I would say very long lasting. तो इनके अंदर adaptation बहुत कम होती है. baroreceptor as well as chemoreceptors बहुत कम adaptation होती है, ठीक है. Because why? Because ये जो pain receptor, chemoreceptor, baroreceptors हैं, they are important for survival. If you get adapted to this chemoreceptors get adapted, तो क्या होगा? Let us say there is this PCO2, ठीक है, इसका receptor जो है, if this gets adapted, then what is going to happen? Or even let us say glucoreceptors, if they get adapted, what is going to happen? तो इससे ये होगा that let us say initially glucose level was 100, okay. After a few minutes, what is going to happen? It will be adapted. Now you had food and let us say it went to 180, ठीक है, glucose मतलब जो glucose concentration है. So what is needed now? Insulin is needed to be released, ठीक है. अब अगर वो 180 का 180 रहता है by chance, then if glucoreceptor will get adapted, no more insulin will be released because अब तो excitation ही नहीं हो रही glucoreceptor की. So मतलब we will cease to perceive that there is high glucose level. Likewise, अगर PCO2 receptor जो है, if that is adapted fast, सो हाई CO2 कॉन्सेंट्रेशन अगर बाई चांस हो गई बंदे के अंदर, तो उसका तो रेस्पिरेटरी जो द रेस्पिरेशन विच इज increased due to high PCO2, that will not be there. Ultimately, that person will go into hypoxia ultimately, right? So they are very important for survival. Okay, these slow adapting receptors. Okay, जो phasic receptors हैं, rapidly adapting receptors, they respond whenever any change is happening. Like for example, superficial touch, right? Or vibration, fast vibration, Pacinian corpuscle, mesener corpuscles. Also, these semicircular canals. तो वो क्या करती हैं? Semicircular canals का क्या काम है? Macula का काम था हमारा position में help करा. Semicircular canal करती है change in position. So they are perceptive to change in position. ठीक है? So these are important for the change, balance, movement, and also superficial touch, vibration, fast vibration especially. Okay, so they are rapidly adapting phasic receptors which are. Now just try to observe this. This is almost the same thing which I told you earlier. This is the stimulus. ठीक है, ये stimulus, ये baseline stimulus है, मतलब no stimulus, and this is maximum stimulus. तो जैसे ही stimulus strength increase हुई, both in the slowly adapting and the rapidly adapting stimulus, you see there are these action potentials which are generated. However, when this stimulus is now sustained there, sustained stimulus is there, so क्या होने वाला है? जो rapidly adapting receptor है उनमें तो further on there would be adaptation and there would be no action potential. However, in the slow adapting receptors, the action potentials will be there. लेकिन बस एक change है छोटा सा, that यहाँ पे the frequency of action potential may not be that high. ठीक है, so slow adapting receptors, they continue to respond to stimulus, maybe with some less intensity. Okay? Likewise, rapidly adapting receptor में क्या है, which are also known as phasic receptor, they will respond mainly to the change in the stimulus, whether it is onset or offset. Okay? Now, this is the sensory nerves which are there. You know them already. These are this is basically, this diagram shows the classification of nerve fibers. So you just see this general classification first. These are type A fibers, then A may be alpha, beta, A, B, C, and D type, and then this C, right? And then sensory nerve fibers can be classified as 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay? These are different classifications, right? So this is the sensory classification. Type 1 fibers are the fastest fibers, then type 2 fibers, type 3 fibers, and finally type 4 fibers. So type 1 fiber में अगर आप देखें तो sensory function क्या क्या करते हैं? Type 1 fibers, they muscle spindle, Golgi tendon organ, they are the one which carry sensation through this fastest fibers. So they are 1AR, 1 alpha, right? A alpha basically. So they are carrying the fastest one. Then vibrations, hair receptors carry sensations through 1B and 2. Also, Pacinian corpuscles, mesener corpuscles, they are carrying sensations mainly through 1 and 2. Right? So they are again fast fibers. Now coming over to deep touch or pricking pain, deep pressure, deep touch or pricking pain. Mainly it is by type 3 fibers, right? So they are up till type 3, they are all myelinated from here to here. They are all myelinated. You know this already, right? And type 4 fibers, they are the unmyelinated one, and they carry what all sensations? The sensation of cold, warmth, pain, the dull aching pain or visceral pain, tickling, crude touch and pressure. So they are all the this sensory nerve, this what do you call it? fibers which are there. Just a second, guys. If you see, there is some other difference between these tonic and phasic receptors. Just wanted to tell you this particular thing. They are the phasic receptors which are there. The phasic receptors are slow adapting receptors. Sorry, the rapidly adapting receptors. They are usually the one. They are usually the one which have capsules and capsule. They are usually the encapsulated nerve endings. And this capsule, encapsulated endings, and this capsule, like for example, we discussed about the Pacinian corpuscle. So how Pacinian corpuscles can the rapidly adapt kaise hui thi? It was basically because of this capsule which had fluid in it. और slow adapt जो slow adapting receptors हैं या tonic receptors हैं, they are usually either the free nerve endings or the expanded nerve endings. So but ये almost nude nerve endings होती है, ठीक है? So ये definite एक फर्क था इसके अंदर, ठीक है? Okay. This is about अच्छा थर्मोरिसेप्टर का थोड़ा सा मुझे आपको यहाँ पे बताना है. अच्छा, this also you know already that the proprioception is मसल स्पिंडल जो है वो proprioception में हेल्प कर रहा होता है और इसमें फास्टेस्ट फाइबर है इसका जो afferent फाइबर that is 1A and 2 and this is the axon diameter and conduction velocity. Need not remember this exactly, but you should know that proprioception is carried by 1A and 2, which is the fastest one. Touch again by usually within 1 and 2 only, that is A beta usually. Again, one of the fastest one. The Merkel's, Meissner, Pacinian endings, they are all responsible for touch and they are pretty fast. Pain and temperature can be through A delta as well as C. Right? So there are three nerve endings, but type C fibers are myelinated one. Sorry, A delta are myelinated one and C are unmyelinated. So pain, temperature, itch, as we just discussed in the last one also, last slide also, they are unmyelinated and carries the slowest conduction speed. Right? So that is about this. Just a second. Does stimulus strength affect? Bhaskar is asking, does stimulus strength affect the adaptation? See, the stimulus strength definitely affect, but more important is if it is sustained. So sustained stimulus that affects. So sustained stimulus strength affects the adaptation. अगर देखो मैं adaptation की बात करूं, if you are thinking this way that strength, देखो strength जो है ना वो सबकी अलग अलग होती है. फॉर एग्जांपल अगर मैं टच की बात करूं, सो टच अप टिल वाले स्ट्रेंथ इज टच. अगर उससे ज्यादा उसकी स्ट्रेंथ हो जाए देन इट वुड बी परसीव्ड एज पेन, एज आई टोल्ड यू अर्लियर आल्सो. सो जब तक उसकी स्ट्रेंथ टच की रहेगी और प्लस अगर वो सस्टेन्ड है, सस्टेन्ड इज इंपॉर्टेंट, देन इट विल बी अडैप्टेड, रैपिडली अडैप्टेड. और यही टच अगर बहुत ज्यादा स्ट्रेंथ के साथ हो जाए, पेनफुल हो जाए, then the receptors would be different. Receptors would be different, right? और उसके बाद ये क्या होने वाला है? This would be delayed adaptation because pain की delayed होती है adaptation. Fine? I hope you understood a little now. What is the reason behind slow and fast adaptation? और क्या है? Temporal summation हमने कर लिया था. Reason between fast and slow adaptation. The reason is, देखो free nerve endings जो है ना, free nerve endings. एक मैंने अभी आपको बताया, क्या बताया था? That the free nerve endings, they are usually the one which adapt delayed. मतलब उनमें adaptation धीरे होती है. और ये जो है encapsulated, इनके अंदर थोड़ी सी ज्यादा होती है. तो encapsulated basically, मैंने एग्जांपल बताया ना आपको, पेसिनियन के अंदर अगर एनकैप्सुलेटेड है तो उसके अंदर फ्लूइड का रिडिस्ट्रीब्यूशन हो गया, प्रेशर का रिडिस्ट्रीब्यूशन हो गया, तो दे विल बी अडैप्टेड फास्ट. फ्री नर्व एंडिंग्स जब तक फोकस रहेगा तब तक वो प्रेशर में रहेंगी, मतलब टच में रहेंगी, प्रेशर में, पेन में, जो भी रहेगा बेसिकली. बिकॉज ऑफ दैट द अडैप्टेशन वुड बी डिलेड. Will adapt to extinction in slow adaptation. Just a second. इसको अलग ही कर लेता हूँ विंडो को. Will adapt to extinction in slow adaptation. What does this mean? Adapt to extinction. देखो, adapt to extinction, I'm not able to exactly get what you are asking, but जो slow adaptation है, slow adaptation के अंदर if see जो भी सर्वाइवल वाली चीजें थी हमारी, they adapt very slowly. ठीक है, जैसे फॉर एग्जांपल कीमो रिसेप्टर्स, पेन रिसेप्टर्स, वो अडेप्टेशन उनके अंदर इन सेंसेशंस में बहुत डिलेड होती है. ठीक है, अगर उनके अंदर अडेप्टेशन जल्दी होने लगी तो क्या होगा? वी विल ऑल एक्सटिंक्ट. सो परहैप्स इट इज रेफरिंग टू दैट ओनली, बिकॉज अगर पेनफुल स्टिमुलस से इफ वी गेट अडेप्टेड, सो विल नॉट फील पेन एंड द सस्टेन्ड टिश्यू डैमेज व्हिच इज हैपनिंग, वो उसको हम नजरअंदाज कर देंगे, उसको हम आगे परस्यू नहीं करेंगे. सो प्रोबेबली दैट इज व्हाट इज रेफर्ड टू एज विल अडेप्ट टू एक्सटिंक्शन. स्टिमुलस स्ट्रेंथ अफेक्ट एडेप्टेशन, ये मैंने बता दिया. स्टिमुलस स्ट्रेंथ के बजाय सस्टेन्ड स्टिमुलस स्ट्रेंथ अफेक्ट एडेप्टेशन डेफिनेटली. Only sodium channels are involved. Sodium as well as to less extent calcium channels, they are there. ठीक है, so sodium channels are because sodium is more abundant, और इसलिए अच्छा, what is Weber-Fechner law? Weber-Fechner law states that, you know, the minimum increase in the stimulus which will produce a perceptible increase in sensation will be proportional to the pre-existing stimulus. इसकी हम बात करेंगे आराम से अभी. Don't worry about this. हम इसको करेंगे. Which stimulus we get adapt faster in hot and cold situations? Which stimulus we get adapt faster in hot and cold situations? Are you asking me in दोनों में से कोई केस में? अमित, I'm asking you. Your question is which stimulus we get adapt faster in hot and cold situations? मतलब हम इन दोनों में से किस में ज्यादा जल्दी अडेप्ट होते हैं? Are you asking this or what? देखो, हम अडेप्ट हर चीज से हो सकते हैं. माइल्ड हॉट एंड माइल्ड कोल्ड सिचुएशंस के अंदर वी विल गेट अडेप्टेड. जब हमारा लेकिन कोल्ड और हॉट से टिश्यू डैमेज स्टार्ट होता है, उस पॉइंट ऑफ टाइम पे दीज सेंसेशंस स्टार्ट एलिसिटिंग पेन, और उसकी अडेप्टेशन जो है दैट इज डिलेड. बट वैसे कूल जो है, कूल वी गेट जस्ट जो कूल सॉरी जो कूल सेंसेशन है उससे हम थोड़ा जल्दी अडेप्ट होते हैं एज कंपेयर टू द वार्म. बट कोल्ड और हॉट जो है उन दोनों में साथ में पेनफुल स्टिमुलस भी हो रहा होता है, कोल्ड में भी और हॉट में भी, तो इसलिए उसके अंदर डिलेड एडेप्टेशन होती है। फाइन। नाउ दिस इज अबाउट द सिग्नल इंटेंसिटी। ओके, ये अभी हम बात कर रहे थे ना समेशन की, देयर वाज अ क्वेश्चन कि समेशन होता है इसके अंदर या नहीं होता है। सो द आंसर इज यस, समेशन होता है। तो देखो, if let us say you have this hand, you have this finger of yours, ठीक है, एंड इस फिंगर का एक पोर्शन जो है ये आपने यहाँ पे मैग्नीफाई कर दिया, ठीक है। सो हियर दिस इज द फिंगर पोर्शन, देयर इज दिस पिन, ये पिन जो है यहाँ पे चुभाई गई। तो इफ यू सी हियर, इफ ये पिन मैं बहुत हल्के से भी चुभा सकता हूँ, थोड़ा मॉडरेट इंटेंसिटी से, और बहुत स्ट्रांगली भी चुभा सकता हूँ, ठीक है, सो दैट इट कैन पियर्स डीप इनसाइड। तो अब आप देखेंगे दैट अगर मैं इसको बहुत सुपरफिशियली टच करता हूँ ओनली विद दिस टिप, then in such case there would be only one very few what shall I say, very few receptors which will be activated. तो अगर आप देखेंगे there is only one red dot here in the middle, फर्स्ट वाले में वीक स्टिमुलस के अंदर, और उसके आसपास का जो एरिया है, उसके आसपास का एरिया, that is the area which is sensitized now but not completely excited. Sensitize हो गया है but excite नहीं हुआ है, ठीक है। सो दिस इज द वीक स्टिमुलस। जो मॉडरेट स्टिमुलस है, मॉडरेट मतलब आपने थोड़ा ज्यादा सिवियरिटी के साथ चुभाया, तो देयर वुड बी मेनी मोर रिसेप्टर्स व्हिच विल बी एक्टिवेटेड। सो काफी सारे रिसेप्टर पोटेंशियल्स बनेंगे, and there would be more action potentials also which would be there. So moderate stimulus में if you see there would be special summation which will be there, right? Temporal summation will also be ultimately there. अगर sustained pressure आपने लगाया, sustained ये लगाया, तो temporal summation will also occur. Also strong stimulus जब आप देते हैं तो definitely a very very large area of this skin it would be impacted. Okay, so there would be both special summation and there would be temporal summation which is there, which will increase the frequency of action potentials, and this frequency of action potential which are there, this will lead to the increased signal intensity, right? So this is temporal, this is about temporal summation. This is the strength of stimulus or strength of let us say जो भी आपने स्टिमुलस दिया, whether it was pain or temperature or whatever it was there, fine. So अगर आपने let us say इस इंटेंसिटी का पहले दिया फिर इस इंटेंसिटी का दोबारा दिया, तो then you will see in the first, if you just try to observe this was a strength of higher stimulus, right? Strength was higher in the first one. This is first and this is second, let us say. तो इसमें ज्यादा हाई स्ट्रेंथ दिया आपने स्टिमुलस का, ठीक है। आप क्या देख रहे हैं यहाँ पे, you will see that there is these many impulses which are there. अब subsequently just after this, if you give second stimulus, you will see that the number of impulses they are little more now. So इसमें क्या हुआ है, पहले और सेकंड वाला जो है they have now submitted now temporally. So अगर subsequent stimulus आप देते हैं with decrease in this stimulus in between, they might lead to summation. So उसमें आपकी इंटेंसिटी जो है वो इंक्रीज हो जाएगी, ठीक है, उसमें इंटेंसिटी जो है इंक्रीज हो जाएगी। अच्छा, एक क्वेश्चन जो भी था हॉट एंड कोल्ड का, ये भी मैं आपको बता दूं थोड़ा सा। देयर वाज वन क्वेश्चन बीइंग आस्क्ड बाय वन ऑफ यू, हॉट एंड कोल्ड के बारे में यू आस्क्ड, तो आई हैव सम स्पेस हियर, आई विल जस्ट टेल यू हियर। देखिए, कोल्ड रिसेप्टर इसका बड़ा सिंपल सा है, 40 डिग्री सेल्सियस एंड 10 डिग्री सेल्सियस, ओके। सो एंड इन बिटवीन देयर इज 24 और 25 नियरली, यहाँ पे आएगा 24 डिग्री सेल्सियस। सो 24 to 10, यहाँ पे you will have feeling of cold or cool, fine. और यहाँ पे you will have feeling of warmth, ठीक है। 40 डिग्री से और अगर एक्चुअली 40 और कुछ बुक्स में 46 भी दिया हुआ है, 46 डिग्री सेल्सियस से ज्यादा अगर आपको फीलिंग होती है टेम्परेचर की, देन इट विल बी परसीव्ड एज पेनफुल रिसेप्टर, बिकॉज इसमें क्या होगा, दिस विल अल्टीमेटली लॉन्ग टर्म में टिश्यू डैमेज करता है, ठीक है। अगर 46 डिग्री से ज्यादा आपका टेम्परेचर है तो लॉन्ग टर्म में लीड टू टिश्यू डैमेज, राइट। Likewise, if the temperature is less than 10 डिग्री सेल्सियस तो भी पेनफुल होगा, एंड दिस विल आल्सो लीड टू टिश्यू डैमेज इन लॉन्ग टर्म, ठीक है। सो कहां से कहां तक के जो रिसेप्टर्स हैं वो काम कर रहे होते हैं हमारे। 24 इज द एम्बिएंट टेम्परेचर फॉर अस, उसमें कूल लग रहा होता है, नीदर वार्म नॉर कोल्ड, 24-25 डिग्री सेल्सियस, उससे ऊपर वार्मथ लग रही होती है, उससे नीचे कोल्ड लग रहा होता है, ठीक है। So this is about the receptors, the pain and temperature, the temperature receptors, ठीक है। अच्छा, बेरोरिसेप्टर्स जो है, बेरोरिसेप्टर्स का एक दो और पॉइंट है। बेरोरिसेप्टर्स में एडेप्टेशन टाइम कितना होता है? बेरोरिसेप्टर्स का एडेप्टेशन टाइम अप्रोक्सीमेटली 2 days. Why is this important? This is important simply because बेरोरिसेप्टर जैसे फॉर एग्जांपल आपका ब्लड प्रेशर के जो रिसेप्टर्स होते हैं, if you have blood pressure increase, sustained increase for 2 days, let us say आपको आपका you are Mr. A and your normal BP is 120/80, okay, you have exams, ठीक है, और you have breakup, उस एग्जाम या फिर ब्रेकअप के बाद your blood pressure is, let us say now 140 and 100. If this BP remains high for nearly 2 days or more, अगर 2 दिन से ज्यादा आपका BP increased रह गया, then in that case what will happen, your baroreceptors would be adapted and there is a very high chance that you will have sustained hypertension. Are you getting my point? So इसीलिए कभी भी बहुत ज्यादा दिनों तक टेंशन नहीं लेनी, बहुत ज्यादा दिनों मतलब 2 दिन से ज्यादा। अगर ब्रेकअप भी हुआ तो उसके बाद you should not be worried for more than 2 days. So उसके 2 दिन के अंदर अंदर आपको अपने आप को ठीक करना है। Likewise for exam also, आपका एग्जाम है तो 1-2 घंटा पहले टेंशन ले सकते हो, 1-2 घंटे बाद तक टेंशन ले सकते हो, बट ड्यूरिंग द नाइट जब भी आप वापस एग्जाम के बाद घर आ जाओ उस टाइम पे आपको टेंशन नहीं लेनी है, अदरवाइज chronic hypertension can set in. Okay, so this is about baroreceptors. Chemoreceptors usually इनमें adaptation होती ही नहीं है, मतलब they never get adapted, chemoreceptors, ठीक है। नोसिसेप्टर्स में जो बाकी नोसिसेप्टर पेनफुल रिसेप्टर्स उनके अंदर थोड़ी adaptation होती है, बट अगेन that is delayed, that is definitely delayed, ठीक है। Okay, signal intensity we have done, temporal summation we have done. Now I'll just tell you a few things about एक दो चीजें और बताऊंगा। एक है sensory coding. What is sensory coding now? Sensory coding simply refers to the attributes of stimulus. कोई भी स्टिमुलस है आप उसको कैसे डिफाइन करोगे? That is attributes of stimulus. Just a second, I'll just see a few questions if they are okay. If due to summation impulses are increased by amplitude. Janvi, you are saying if due to summation impulses are increased, why amplitude is decreased? Okay, a very good question. Important thing here is that summation basically refers to summation occurs when the, मैं एक बार इस डायग्राम के अंदर ही आपको बताता हूँ। गुड क्वेश्चन एक्चुअली। देखो, this was the first stimulus, this was the second stimulus. In between, मैंने यहाँ पे point out भी किया था, in between there has to have a decrement of the stimulus so that we get to know that there are two different stimulus which are there. तो जब जब दो इस तरह के स्टिमुलस होंगे, only then we will be perceiving as two different stimulus in short duration of time, and then only temporal summation will occur. इसका मैकेनिज्म क्या है? देखो, इसका मैकेनिज्म सिंपल है कि ये लेट अस से एक दिस इज अ रिसेप्टर, प्रेशर आपने यहाँ पे अप्लाई किया, ठीक है, इसके ऊपर प्रेशर अप्लाई हुआ, तो इसके अंदर की जो न्यूरॉन है, अब मैं इसको थोड़ा बड़ा बना के दिखा रहा हूँ आपको। लेट अस से दिस इज द न्यूरॉन एंड दिस वाज दीज वर द लेयर्स इसके बाहर। सो व्हाट हैपेंस, अगर यहाँ पे प्रेशर अप्लाई हुआ, देन व्हाट इज हैपनिंग नाउ, देयर इज दिस ion channels which are opening here. This is because of the pressure and deformation. This is because of the deformation of this neuron here. Okay. अब sustained pressure अगर रहेगा तो क्या होगा, ये जो pressure यहाँ पे था ये redistribute हो गया सारे में. In that case, there is no deformation here. So because of that, the stimulus will now be less. Got it? Stimulus ही कम हो जाएगा. अगर stimulus कम हो गया तो obviously आपकी firing कम हो जाएगी. Okay. More myelination of nerve lead to more chances of adaptation. Ayush, देखो हो क्या रहा है, we are not referring to nerves here. देखिए एक बड़ी सिंपल सी चीज है, यहाँ पे हम रिसेप्टर की बात करें, दिस इज अबाउट रिसेप्टर. सो रिसेप्टर के अंदर ये जो पार्ट होता है ना न्यूरॉन का, इसके ऊपर माइलिनेशन बहुत ज्यादा नहीं होती. इस वाले पार्ट में, एंड वाले पोर्शन में, जहाँ पे नोड्स ऑफ रेनवीयर चालू होते हैं, वहां पे माइलिनेशन चालू होती है. तो यहाँ पे हम आपका माइलिनेशन के साथ बहुत ज्यादा इशू नहीं है. हाउएवर टू एन एक्सटेंट यू आर राइट, क्योंकि जो आपके डिलेड रिसेप्टर वाले हैं, पेनफुल स्टिमुलस, टेम्परेचर और ये सब, ये यूजुअली अनमाइलिनेटेड के थ्रू ही जा रहे होते हैं. सो यू कैन थिंक इन दैट सेंस, लेकिन एग्जैक्टली दिस नॉट ट्रू. If adaptation occur, that means that those feedback mechanism would also stop. That might have occurred if adaptation haven't occurred. If the receptor adapt, then the change in BP, no feedback would occur. Absolutely, Anushka. So that is what I am saying. अगर baroreceptor 2 दिन तक आपके एक्टिवेट, मतलब 2 दिन तक सस्टेन्ड BP रह गया, तो क्या हुआ, जो baroreceptor mechanism था, feedback mechanism basically, which was correcting the BP, now it will no more correct this BP, and therefore you will have chances of sustained increase in the BP. So now 140/100 would be new normal for these BP receptors. Are you getting this? So initially that was abnormal for the baroreceptors, but if they get adapted to higher BP, now it would be new normal. So फिर उसके बाद उनकी फायरिंग खत्म हो जाएगी और फीडबैक मैकेनिज्म जो था वो भी खत्म हो जाएगा. इसीलिए ये डेंजरस है. ठीक है. Okay. Now sensory coding I was telling you. So sensory coding refers to the attribute of the stimulus. So कौन-कौन से attributes हैं? सबसे पहला चीज, what is the first attribute? So what is the first attribute? Attributes कौन-कौन से हैं? First is the site or location. तो जब भी कोई फीलिंग आती है, let us say you had a slap, ठीक है, आपको अपनी मम्मी से एक स्लैप पड़ा, मम्मी या पापा से, तो आप क्या क्या चीज बताओगे? एंड यू केम टू, लेट अस से your mom slapped you and you went to your father. सो आपने पापा को क्या क्या बताओगे कि भाई क्या क्या हुआ है? तो बस उसी हिसाब से आपको सोचना है कि मुझे क्या हुआ. तो आप क्या बताओगे कि मेरे मुंह पे चांटा पड़ा, ठीक है. So this is the site or location, which is face, right? तो दूसरी चीज आप क्या बताओगे? मोडालिटी. ये फेस पे क्या हुआ? फेस पे चांटा पड़ा, स्लैप, which was painful, right? और तीसरा क्या बताओगे? खाली इससे तो काम नहीं चलेगा. Your father is not going to help you out. या मम्मी को तो वापस कुछ नहीं बोलने वाले until unless you tell him the intensity. कि मम्मी ने बहुत तेज चांटा मारा, right? So you'll also tell about the intensity. So बहुत ज्यादा तेज चांटा मारा, ठीक है. दूसरा, चाटे के सेंस में ये बहुत ज्यादा एप्लीकेबल नहीं है, बट कोई और अगर सेंसेशन होगी तो ड्यूरेशन ऑल्सो, ठीक है। So duration of the stimulus, fine. So these are all the attributes of a particular stimulus, fine. Okay, now let us discuss few laws of the sensory physiology. कितना टाइम है हमारे पास अभी? We have nearly 10 minutes more and we'll discuss about the laws of sensory physiology now in very brief. कुछ रह जाएगा तो next class will continue this. So the first law is Bell-Megendie law. Bell-Megendie और Bell-Megendie law. ये Bell-Megendie law क्या बोलता है? ये जब हम अभी सेंसरी फिजियोलॉजी आगे पढ़ेंगे, ट्रैक्ट्स हम पढ़ेंगे, उस टाइम पे भी पढ़ेंगे, हालांकि यहीं पे मैं आपको शॉर्ट में बता देता हूँ दैट स्पाइनल कॉर्ड का जो डॉर्सल हॉर्न है दैट कैरीज द सेंसरी फाइबर्स, और जो इसका वेंट्रल हॉर्न है ऑफ स्पाइनल कॉर्ड दैट कैरीज मोटर फाइबर्स, राइट। सेकेंड इज, ये हम ऑलरेडी पढ़ चुके हैं, स्पेसिफिक नर्व एनर्जी, मुलर्स डॉक्ट्रिन ऑफ specific nerve energies. What do you mean by specific nerve energies? इसका मतलब है कि whether you initiate an excitation of receptor or anywhere in the pathway of the sensation, or the area of brain which is stimulated, you will have same sensation. ठीक है, ये मैंने एग्जांपल आपको पहले भी दिया था, ठीक है, कि अगर आपका लेके लेट अस से दिस इज योर फिंगर, तो यहाँ से लेके इसकी जो ये ट्रैक्ट गई ऊपर, अल्टीमेटली जो ब्रेन का पार्ट था जहाँ पे जाके ये अल्टीमेटली गई, whether you initiate excitation here or directly here, you will have the same sensation of touch or pain or whatever modality it is there. So specific nerve energy, you see the nerve energy is specific, ठीक है, आप कहीं भी स्टिमुलेट कर लीजिए. Third law is law of projection. What do you mean law of projection? Law of projection means, आपने phantom limb शायद सुना होगा. Law of projection का बड़ा अच्छा सा एग्जांपल होता है phantom limb. Now what is phantom limb and what is law of projection? It simply means if a nerve is stimulated, let us say this is the stump, ultimately वो जो उसका पैर होना था कुछ इस तरह का होना था, ठीक है, here it is stump, ठीक है, उसका पैर कट गया, एम्पुटेट हो गया. अगेन अगर आप if you stimulate here or here, कहीं पे भी आप स्टिमुलेट करेंगे, लेट अस से स्टिमुलेट here, और जो उसका रिसेप्टर था अल्टीमेटली, लेट अस से दिस इज द न्यूरॉन व्हिच इज कमिंग एंड अल्टीमेटली इट हैड टू गो, और उसको यहाँ पे आना था, ठीक है. नाउ व्हाट हैज हैपेंड? नाउ दिस इज कट, receptor is no more there. Now if the same nerve you initiate here, the same nerve you excite here, then the person will feel as if his foot is being touched. Okay, so when a nerve is stimulated anywhere in its course, the sensation appears to arise from the site of receptor. This is important, okay, and this is known as phantom limb. The reason for phantom limb is basically cortical plasticity. जब हम आगे अभी पढ़ेंगे cortex, then we'll plasticity, then we will discuss about the cortical plasticity also, ठीक है. Okay, so next is law of intensity discrimination of stimulus. लॉ ऑफ इंटेंसिटी डिस्क्रिमिनेशन ऑफ स्टिमुलस, मतलब हम इंटेंसिटी को कैसे डिस्क्रिमिनेट कर सकते हैं। इसमें आता है आपका वेबर फेशनर लॉ, और दो लॉज हैं बेसिकली, वेबर फेशनर एंड स्टीवन पावर लॉ, स्टीवंस पावर लॉ. So what does Weber-Fechner law says? Weber-Fechner law says that the sensation which is felt is directly proportional to log of intensity of stimulus. Okay. So for example, if you see, अगर मतलब log के हिसाब से, so if the sensation was, let us say, अगर मैं log 10 करूं तो log 10 कितना होगा? It would be 1. log 100 कितना होगा? It would be 2. That means if my sensation has increased 100 times, sorry 10 times, my sensation will be increased only twice. Intensity मैंने 10 times कर दी, sensation मुझे सिर्फ twice आई. Are you getting this? So this is Weber-Fechner law, and this is there applicable only in extremes, I would say. There is another one, Stevens power law. It says that sensation is, which is perceived, is directly proportional to intensity raised to the power some constant. अब देखो एक बार वेबर-फेशनर लॉ और स्टीफन्स पावर लॉ को हम थोड़ा सा समझने की कोशिश करते हैं through what I already told you. This one. Herein, if you see the small changes, just try to understand small changes in stimulus strength. You know, they were perceived more when this intensity was low. ठीक है, तो मतलब कम इंटेंसिटी चेंज पे भी ये चेंजेस हमें ज्यादा परसीव हो रहे थे. तो इस एरिया में हमारा स्टीफन्स पावर लॉ लग रहा होता है, राइट? So in less stimulus strengths, we have Stevens power law, which is applicable, and in the large, stimulus strengths or high intensity में stimulus की, we have this Weber-Fechner's law, which is applicable, Okay. So these are few laws which are there in sensory physiology. Okay guys, so with this background, we'll further in next class we'll discuss about few other things. I'll just see if you have this excitation facilitation we already studied. I'm not going to go again into this. I'll just see whether, yeah, labeled line principle here, it's almost the same. Labeled line principle is nothing but Muller's doctrine of specific nerve energy. एक ही बात. Okay, baroreceptor adaptation, ठीक है, समझ में आ गया आपके. Muller's doctrine is yes, same as labeled line principle. You are right. Any something else? Some other question if you have. Otherwise, we'll just call it a day. I know in next 5-7 minutes you have another class. Okay, if no more questions, then yes, sensitization and facilitation and potentiation. Okay, they are almost similar terms. Just a second. See, whenever we talk of synapse, so potentiation, what is potentiation? Potentiation refers to the strengthening of nerve synapse basically, है ना. Sensitization में क्या होता है, मैं एक बार थोड़ा सा आपको इससे बताता हूँ, just hold on. Which book is better to read CNS from? CNS, see, Ganong has given good CNS, so Ganong, Guyton, both are okay. Answer writing के लिए, if you are referring to Dr. A.K. Jain's book also, that is also good. मतलब I would say, मतलब most of the things are there in all the books. मतलब ऐसा कुछ ज़्यादा इसमें कोई टेंशन की बात नहीं है. You can have any book per se. Just a second, guys. अच्छा, Dr. Chakravarti is asking what is A in Stephen Power law. See, A जो है basically, A is a power exponent basically. It is, it is different for different modalities. So for example, pain will have different A, touch will have different A, temperature will have different A. So Stephen Power law में क्या था, जो intensity है, मतलब जो perception है, that is directly proportional to intensity की raised to the power something, and that something will depend upon, that is again a constant depending upon the modality. Okay. Okay. Some other. Anushka, I'll get back to you. Just a second. वैसे they are all the terms used for say almost the same thing. Sensitization, facilitation and potentiation are similar. कोई बहुत ज्यादा डिफरेंस नहीं होता है. बेसिकली पोटेंशिएशन का मतलब होता है नर्व साइनेप्स जो है उसमें स्ट्रेंथनिंग हो गई उसकी. मतलब फॉर एग्जांपल, जैसे इसमें लॉन्ग टर्म पोटेंशिएशन भी हो सकता है, शॉर्ट टर्म पोटेंशिएशन भी हो सकता है, थोड़ा सा डिफरेंस है. ठीक है. हैबिचुएशन तो आपको पता ही है, उसका ऑपोजिट हो गया हैबिचुएशन. सेंसिटाइजेशन क्या होता है, एक पर्टिकुलर सेंसिटाइजेशन का मतलब थोड़ा सा फर्क है. देखिए सेंसिटाइजेशन में क्या है, देयर इज फर्स्ट स्टिमुलस व्हिच इज देयर, सो दिस फर्स्ट स्टिमुलस इज लीडिंग और हेल्पिंग द सेकंड स्टिमुलस. दिस इज मोर ऑफ सेंसिटाइजेशन. ओके. फैसिलिटेशन जब हम बात करते हैं तो फैसिलिटेशन में वो जो हमने एग्जांपल दिया था डिफरेंट सिनेप्सेस का, एक सिनेप्स आ रहा था एंड दे वर फैसिलिटेटिंग द थर्ड एंड द फर्स्ट एंड लास्ट वन, वहां पे फैसिलिटेशन की बात हुई थी. सिनेप्स में एक बार और रिपीट कराऊंगा, जब हम रिफ्लेक्सेस करेंगे देन आई विल जस्ट अगेन टेल यू दिस. ओके, सो आई थिंक वी आर डन. वी आर टाइम इज आल्सो लाइक देयर. ओके, so I'm just closing it now. Thank you so much for your patient hearing. Okay, take care. Bye bye, guys. I think taking this live class is a little better than recording. So we'll continue with such live classes only.